What is going on, guys? This is Jagno back again with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the best stadiums to use for your team builder teams. There are 136 stadiums that you can use technically. Actually, I don't think you can use Delaware or Missouri State, but honestly, those aren't really good options anyway. So I'm going to give you some of the best options to use for your team builder teams. Now, I will immediately get the generic stadiums out of the way, so I'll pull them up on screen. Now, this is going to be a huge shout out to it's from Operation Sports. His name is NC Offie, or In Coffee. I don't know how it's pronounced, from Operation Sports, but he basically made a playlist on YouTube that has like every stadium, and he just turns the camera around, which I think is an excellent way to look at like everything versus using the website, because the website just shows a single angle and you can't see half the stadium. So I think the way he does it here is excellent. I'm gonna go a little bit more in detail as I like break down the list, but I kind of narrowed it down based off of his playlist. So I will also link down in the description. Again, huge shout out to him. He did a great job, but I am gonna use some of his videos for the generic stadium. So again, shout out to him, and again, please go check out his channel and leave a thumbs up. This is just such a great like tool I think everyone should have, and just pull up the playlist if you need to like check each of the stadiums. So I'll start off with the generic stadium one, and I will say it's actually probably the best of the generic stadiums. You basically get almost a complete bowl minus one of the end zones. You do get an upper deck. It is a pretty solid stadium. The one thing with these generic stadiums is that 3 of them have pretty mid capacities, so they are kind of meant for like either a lower power school or like a group of 6 school. It's not really meant for like a powerhouse that you're creating. I think you could use them, but I definitely want to showcase some other great options, especially from some like real schools that you can use. So generic stadium number 1 would probably be my favorite. Generic stadium 2 is also pretty solid, especially with the background. It has like a city background. You see a bunch of buildings. The only thing that I don't really like about generic stadium 2 is on one of the end zones, there's like this big grassy patch area, and you think that's where like fans could sit and watch the game. Like a lot of stadiums have that. Like Virginia is a good example. You know, Missouri has that, but it's just completely blank. And then you just have fans like further back. It just seems kind of weird in my opinion. But if you like the city like background with all the buildings, it's actually not a bad option. It only has stands on each sideline. There really isn't anything on the end zone, so that's something to keep in mind. Again, pretty low capacity. And then you have generic stadium 3, which again feels kind of like a Sunbelt stadium. You do have every I guess edge. You have the 2 sidelines, and the end zones all have like fans and have areas, but it definitely seems a lot more, I would say, intimate. Seems a lot more up close. It just seems like the capacity is lower though, so that is something to keep in mind. Can't go wrong with it though. Again, these aren't bad options. And then generic stadium 4, I got a little bit of beef with this stadium, because this was the same stadium that was used in the old Madden 25, not the one from last year, like the one from 2013. This stadium has been in the game for so long. I don't really like it that much. It is a bigger stadium, does have a higher capacity, but I think there are some better options. You also have the high school stadium. High school stadium should really only be used for high school teams. That's just such a low capacity. Makes no sense. Maybe if you're gonna do like a JUCO or something. I think it's great for doing like team builder for Road to Glory. Perfect for that. I don't really see any other purpose for using it. So now we can go into the actual stadiums that are not generics. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is Air Force. So starting off with Air Force, I think their stadium, shockingly, is a great option. So just looking around, you don't see really any branding on the sidelines. You do see those little video boards, but again, those will change with the team that you select. So that is one cool thing about College Football 26, is that the video boards are changing. But I always like to look at the sidelines and see if there's any logos or anything on here, because you can't change those. Obviously right here you do have Air Force there. That is going to be there on your team builder team. First of all, you have really small lower bowl, and then it immediately turns into like triple decker, which I think is actually pretty cool. But just looking deeper at some of these things, you do have like the things like Desert Storm, you have the Berlin Airlift. So these are more like Air Force specific things, but to be honest, you really don't see those. You really have to look to find them. And then just seeing all these other things, again, it's white and gray. These are really easy to blend in with any stadium. That one is also, blue, so that is something to keep in mind, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think you could really pick any team color and be perfectly fine. So I think Air Force is actually a really good stadium. I just think it has a ton of potential here. Like, I really think it is a great stadium to use. It's like, also it's a West Coast style stadium, so if you want to have some team that's based in the West Coast, you have some trees in the background. But I think Air Force is a great option. I definitely think you should use it. I really don't think there's really anything against it, other than maybe like being a little weird in terms of its design, how it has a single decker here and then it jumps into a triple decker. But I think it's something that I would totally recommend using for a team builder team. So that is the first stadium that I am going to recommend. Next up is going to be Akron. Now, I know it's crazy that I'm doing Akron for like being such a small school, but I think their stadium is actually better than the generic stadiums personally, and its branding is not as bad as you guys think. So first of all, there really isn't that much branding really at all. It's pretty clean. Now, this definitely is going to be recommended for a team that has a blue color scheme, because if you look at the upper deck, it is blue. Could go with a more like royal blue, I guess. The only branding you really see is up here, where you just see the A logo. Honestly, if you had a school that had A in it, it's not even that bad. And again, nowhere else do you really see any Akron branding. You do see some blue in the background here, but again, it's just blue. There's no logos. I really think this is a great stadium, and one of the cool things about it is that you do have all these fans in the background. I just think it's cool that you have this grassy area and then you have the fans there. So I do think it is really cool. Again, it's also a stadium that's really like close. Like, it is right on top of you. The fans are right there. I think the architecture is really cool. I would definitely recommend using Akron. Again, if you have a blue team, it fits right in. You could probably get away if you don't use a blue team, but probably would want to use kind of a royal blue. But again, I think Akron is a great option. So there you go. We'll move on to the next stadium. Now we are on our third stadium that's not generic, and that's going to be Cal. I really think Cal has one of the best options out there. Genuinely, this is a great stadium to use. I think the only branding I can find is down here where it says calathleticsfund.com. Like, there really isn't anywhere else that you see Cal's branding. Again, these video boards will all change for the team that you select, so it's all gonna work really well. I'm just trying to find anywhere else you see any Cal branding, but really the only branding I can see is right here. That is the Cal Athletics Fund. That's the only thing that I can see that has anything to do with Cal. This is, again, a really good option. It's a bowl stadium and got some little hill mountain area in the background. So again, West Coast team. But other than that, I really think this is a great option. Oh, I think, wait, nope, there you go. There's more Cal branding just right there. It's so hard to find, honestly. It is like such a great option. Again, this would probably be like an S tier. The reason why you may not want to pick it is because maybe it's just a little bit small. It's a bowl stadium. You cannot go wrong with bowl style stadiums, especially for college, and it's for a power team. I definitely think it's something that I would personally recommend. And I think it works for any school too. You could use any color. So I think Cal is definitely towards the top of the list. And we'll move on to the next team. And we're moving on to, this might be the final stadium for today, and this is going to be Cincinnati. This is a classic. This is something that everyone was using in College Football 25, but I still think it's a great option. It's a classic stadium, but also has some modern features. I think, having that building in the background that doesn't have any logos on it just looks really clean. The video board has no logos on it. Really, this is such a good option. Like, I don't really see any issues here. Now, there is some Cincinnati branding somewhere, as you can see, like in the upper deck. This isn't a video board, like you do see it, but to be honest, like, it's all cut off, so that could just be like a pattern. You could just kind of write that off, but that's really the only Cincinnati logos you do see on the stadium. The rest of it is, pretty clean. You really can't see anything else. Looking at the press box, it is all like really, super clean. No branding anywhere on the walls. Again, it is super, like, looking down in here. These are, sponsorships. These are fake sponsorships, obviously, but nothing regarding Cincinnati. So there is also one catch as well. So if you can see right there, those seats, those benches are red. I don't know why the crowd is acting so weird, but those benches are red. So for example, if you're playing like a new school that isn't very good and you're doing Dynasty, you'll realize like the crowd is going to be empty to start off, and you will see like those red seats. Like those seats will be there. Now, it's not completely immersion breaking, but it definitely makes you think like you should probably pick a school that has red in it because they have like the red stands. But it's honestly not too big of a deal, honestly. Like it almost feels like a generic color that could be put there, but that's just something to keep in mind. So like if the stadiums are, you know, empty, or if there isn't that many fans, you will see like some empty seats and have some red peeking out. So if you're picking with a team that's blue, like for example, I did a team builder team with Duval College, which has blue and pink as its colors, and I picked the stadium. And at the beginning, like it was a little weird at first seeing like, you know, the pink and blue in the stadium with the red stands, but I think it's honestly something you can get over pretty quick. But other than that, again, I think Cincinnati is a great option. It has a lot of cool background features. You have like this building over here, you have, you know, this cool building with the cool little triangles, and then also you have like the looks like that's like the campus and the city behind it. So I think that's probably what makes this stadium such a great option, is that it has like the classic bowl, but it has also some really modern looking features of a stadium. So it's been a popular stadium for a reason in College Football 25, and I think it will continue to be a popular option for College Football 26. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are already using this stadium, but if not, it might be something to try out. But obviously we have the other ones I did showcase, and there are a lot more. I can keep going. So let me know if you do like these kinds of videos. I can make more. Just wanted to test something out and see if you guys want me to make more of these contents focused on Team Builder. If there's any suggestions you guys have, let me know in the comments down below. But other than that, this has been Jagnal, and I will see you guys next time.